Welcome to this YouTube live. Today we will be answering questions, and we have some pre-submitted questions, and we will most likely get questions during this call as well.
Feel free to be active inside the chat. Ask questions inside the YouTube chat if you're watching on YouTube, or in the Zoom chat if you don't want to talk. Yes, sir.
Okay, Aude, you had some pre-submitted questions. You can start going over them.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to say them here, or should I read them from the...
No, it was just a rough idea because from what I've heard and when I read the discussions, I feel that most people are quite advanced in the process. As I said, I published a book, but a long time ago, and I consider myself as a beginner. And really, for me, the niche is super important. And I think I kind of struggle about the niche because I have all these kinds of ideas. And for me, it's very difficult to tackle. Really, I'm scattered about the niches.
Okay.
So,
have you started doing some niche research?
Yeah, but I'm not happy. So I think I'm restarting again.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
one question here is, as a beginner, you advise concentrate on publishing your first book, then we need to think about the brand. And Gerald answered this as well, and I think it's a good idea to first get a successful book. If you have complete clarity on this is what I want to publish, this is what I want to do long term, then yes, it makes sense to create a brand, or if you see a long-term vision with it right from the start. But otherwise, it's a good idea to get that successful book first, at least a couple. So I normally say under $1,000. It's once you cross $1,000, yeah, it's good to start thinking about a brand and long term. But if you see an idea early on, it's good as well.
When you say $1,000, it's $1,000 for the book and per month.
$1,000 per month on Amazon KDP.
For one book.
No, not necessarily for one book, but overall in terms of revenue.
Okay.
Because when you're making that amount, you will most likely have the process for creating profitable books down, and you will know how to select the best covers, the best titles, etc. So that's the idea. And then we have in the trifecta, there's a module on Facebook. Is Facebook the best performing advertising platform? So for books, primarily first it's Amazon ads, and then in the trifecta, it's if you want to scale up in terms of building an audience, etc. So I would, at this stage, I would only focus on Amazon ads for you.
Maybe to add something about the niche research. For me, it was very hard. It was a task I didn't like to do at the beginning, and I had to do it many hours and many times in different niches, and then I get to understand it. Then it was more like an intuition from time to time, and now it's really easy and it makes fun. But at the beginning, it wasn't that easy. It was hard for me personally because it's not a task I like to do. Yeah. So my tip would be to do it consistently. Even if you have a good niche, do it anyways, a few hours per week, so that you keep the routine in it and get to know Amazon, get to know the niches, and then I think from time to time you will get this intuition, and that's very, very powerful, I think. Yeah.
Thanks.
What do you think the best tools for doing the niche research is, other than the Amazon search toolbar?
I personally like Bookbeam. That is my favorite. And I use it in combination with the Titans Pro. That works very good. but Bookbeam, I would say, is the one I'm using most. What about you, Andre?
I use Helium 10. I don't know the other ones, so I can't say anything about it, but it's very simple and it works perfectly. But I think it's the expensive one, the most expensive one of the tools.
Sorry, which one? I didn't get that.
Helium 10.
How do you spell that?
HILEUM and then a 10.
Helium. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Peter posted it in the chat. But I think all tools can do the same in their essence. So it's more about how you use them than the tools, I think. So if you can do niche research, you can do it with every tool. For example, you even can do it without any tool because you see the BSR at the book pages, but it's way more time to click on the book, scroll down, get the BSR, and then analyze it from there on. So the tool is just a help.
But how
Yeah.
do you appreciate between keywords like good keywords and not too many competition? For example, so I know you have a certain parameters like under 80K BSR when you look at the books. Then what is not too competitive in terms of review? How many reviews in for a keywords? Let's say you have the keywords, I don't know, it's one of the example you take in your keto diet. Then you find, I don't know, 5 or 6 books under 80K BSR. But how do you appreciate in terms of reviews amount, whether it's too competitive or not?
Maybe I can start, Peter, here.
Yeah, sounds good.
I do niche research with two. I like to get two things to focus on. One is the quantitative analysis, so how much people search for the keywords and how much people do, how low is the BSR for the books. So as you said, under the 80K, for example, that's a quantitative analysis. The other one is the qualitative, and there it's about to analyze your competitors. And one aspect of that is the reuse, of course, but I'm more looking at, I don't know how it's called in English, but in German we say attacking points. So points in the book where we can attack the competition. For example, if the book sells, but it only has 3.5 reviews, then the reviews is an attack point. Or if the cover doesn't look good. If it's a bad cover, but the book sells, you can attack that niche with a better cover. Or if the description text is good, if the A plus content isn't good. These are all examples where you can attack this competitor. And it's a more, you don't need only to focus on the reviews. There are more points you can look at. For example, I have a book that's doing around $2,500 a month in gross royalties. So net around, I think, 1,200 euros in net profit. And the concept of the book is to be something what wasn't there at the beginning. It's only about attacking. It's in a niche where all other books have 100, 200, 300 reviews, but my book with 20 reviews destroys them because it's attacking the weaknesses, even with low reviews. So that's possible. That's not that easy because you really need to know how to make the concept of the book, but it works. And yeah.
Okay, no, that's a good advice.
I agree there with Andre. I think that's a good idea to check both at the numbers. So you can think, okay, can I get up to the amount of the top 3 books, top 5 books? But even if they have more reviews, if you're able to complement the market in a way that there is nothing like that on the market, and you see a demand for it, then the reviews become less important. But I know Gerald here looks like he's joining us from space. I think he will be able to provide some guidance on this as well.
As far as reviews, is the question, right?
Yeah, I saw one video from you. You have a YouTube channel called the AI Publisher, and I think you mentioned 100 reviews is a good amount to aim for. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. So, well, thanks for the opportunity to talk a little bit about this. But yeah, 100 reviews is a point in which I can see a lot of books taking off, even from the ads section. So as far as ads, once you get to 100 reviews, it's much easier to scale. And I have a graph where I normally show that the more you get past 100 reviews, the sales begin to climb exponentially and then kind of taper off once you reach about 1,000 reviews, right? So I'm not trying to tell you guys, hey, let's go for 1,000 reviews for our books, but I think that the point where the book sales start taking off really well is about 100. And I think the best way to look at it is from the perspective of the customer, right? When you want to buy something on Amazon, you don't want to be wanting to return the book later. You don't want to think about the possibility or the time it will take you if you don't like the book and to send it back. So most people just usually buy books at 500 reviews or 1,000 reviews. And if they're feeling a little bit risky that day, they might get a book at 100 reviews, but definitely a book at 50 or 40 reviews is actually just barely like getting a little percentage of the overall niche sales, if I could say it like that. How does that sound, or is that more or less what you guys have been seeing from your results?
Yeah, I think that's the high reviews, and usually when you get a lot of sales, the reviews start coming in more and more as well. So, for example, I have one book or two books over 2,000 reviews, and maybe I'll work to get 30 max on those, but the rest come organically because of the sales. So it becomes, the more reviews you get, the more sales you get, the more sales you get, the more reviews you get. So it becomes an exponential growth cycle there. But of course, when you are getting more reviews, you also need to make sure that you get every component right, which is taught in the trifecta. So get the book cover right, get the title, get the niche right. But if you have all those components, yes, in general, more is better.
Yeah, so if you don't have like a good cover or the angle is not good or any of these things are off, then the amount of reviews will not play such a significant role. Like you need to have all three, like what you mentioned in the trifecta.
And that if I could just ask a question there about the reviews. I have a Kindle book that has gotten, I mean, that's like a pretty natural process for a customer once they've read the book to just add the review right after that. But on the paperback, I realize that paperbacks, I don't get nearly as many reviews on. And the question is, how do you guys do to get those reviews on the paperback versions of the books as well? Is there some kind of a, do you add anything into the paperback itself to encourage customers to go and leave reviews, or how do you do that?
I add the same text that is in the ebook as in the paperback, but the difference becomes it cannot, I don't think there's a link, so it's more so a text of encouraging. If you enjoyed this book, I'd very much appreciate a review. So a text like that could help. Anyone else has any thoughts on that?
You could also kind of encourage the reviews for the Kindle version. So when I have the book up in both digital and paperback, I usually direct all of my attention to reviewing the Kindle version because at the end of the day, the reviews will transfer over to the paperback if they share the same listing, right? So once I publish a book, all my focus is to get those maybe 50 or 100 reviews on the Kindle because the paperback will have it either way. Now, how can you incentivize paperback sales to turn into a review? You can also go to your product, the paperback product, no, and right click the leave a review button and copy that link like directly to leave a review, and then make a QR code out of that and put it into your paperback. So then when people go to that page in your paperback where it says please leave a review, they can scan it and the scanning automatically takes them to the leave a review page instead of taking them to the actual listing. So I think either one of those two can also work in your favor, right? To get more reviews for the paperback.
Yeah, I like the idea of the QR code because I'm thinking mainly like on coloring books and so on, where you're not going to, well, naturally, you're not going to put out a Kindle version maybe as the first variation of it. And so a lot of those first sales come as just paperback sales. So the QR code there at the end is a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's see if we have some more questions in the chat. How many people do you have in the program Trifecta? I tried to schedule a 50-minute call, but there were no dates available. Right now we have 20 members inside the Trifecta. So there are a few people joining every day currently. That's nice to see. Ken, do you have any more questions here on the call?
Not that I can think of. Well, I have a million questions, but nothing at the moment. It's mainly I'm still going through the Trifecta course, so I don't know if I'm about 40% of it, and some of that stuff is pretty heavy. Takes some serious concentration, especially the cover design. That's some pretty deep stuff, and I was like, oh my god, no, I'll save that for later. So, but yeah, it's good stuff. So I'm still working through that, and hopefully I'll have more relevant questions moving forward. But I kind of want to get through the course before I start throwing out a bunch of questions of stuff that may be answered already. So,
okay. Aude, how far have you come into the course?
So I'm the last one I did is the font. Then also I jumped to the brand mastery because at the moment I'm just obsessed about the niche. It's just like picking a good stock. You need to get the one because for me I don't know, maybe I don't have an issue to write, to create, but really finding the topics that is interesting. How do you find the competition nowadays? Because with AI and there's so many advertisements all over the internet and also program encouraging you to publish on Amazon. And so sometimes I wonder, of course, I did take the program, but is it still possible to make money?
Yes, definitely. And I think you are in the right program because if you see, for example, a lot of videos on how to create books, and some of them are with AI, I'm not saying they're bad. Many of them are helpful, but if you go with it, with the approach that they're showing in the YouTube video, for example, where you do your own cover, based on what I've seen, I don't see huge results coming out from that. So with the Trifecta, you are approaching it correctly from the start. So you're getting, it's like you're getting on the right lane right from the start. So, and you also have the support component. So when you find a niche, you can ask in the WhatsApp group, we can double check, is this good, is it not? So you will refine, you will become better and better as you progress through the Trifecta and also through the program.
And also, I think you answer the message. So when you are looking for a niche, do you go on the Amazon.com? Because I could see that in your videos, you're very often using as an example, but maybe it's just for the example, the Amazon in Sweden rather than the .com. And I was thinking, .com, because this is the American market, is a bigger market.
I'm only doing Amazon.com. So everything is based on Amazon.com. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the question is where you publish your book. So I do many German books, and then I do only the German Amazon marketplace. If you do a French book, for example, then you do the French on the French market and niche research. Yeah.
You only write in German?
No, I do both, but I research in both markets to know, okay, if I do a German book here, I can later translate it into English. That's my approach.
Okay. So you will look first on the German market or first on the American market?
normally first in the German market, but the German market is way bigger than the French, so I don't know how that translates in your situation. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I could go for the Quebec Canadian market too, I guess, maybe. Switzerland. I don't know.
Yeah, Amazon.ca. Sometimes we see books performing well. The French market would be interesting. I see some books, especially when you get into the Greenfield publishing, the second module. I show an example there as well of a French book.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome, Daniel, to the Zoom meeting.
I think Michael has asked an interesting question inside the Zoom chat. Do you want me to read it out loud?
Yeah, I can read it.
Does the course focus on the DIY, do-it-yourself approach to the end-to-end publishing process? For example, how to design the book, how to create a cover, etc. Or does it also deal with the practicalities of finding and working with other professionals, for example, writers, graphics designers, etc.? Feel free to answer it yourself, Peter. Or do you want me?
Yeah, I can. It doesn't focus on doing it yourself. It focuses mostly on how to do everything well, and systems mastery, that is focused on hiring and building a system. But it's mostly about how to, for example, the covers. How do you pick the right covers? How do you hire a designer? That is more on the basic side, so that is covered in the pre-school course. But the trifecta, it's more so how to do every component as best as possible, and that way get results from your book.
I have a question about that. So there's the writer, the ghostwriter, and then I think you call it the editor, the one who is reading and everything. Do you need to hire an editor for the first books?
It depends. If you read the book yourself and you feel confident that you will be able to spot any mistakes, then you can do it yourself. I know many publishers for several years who only edit themselves and read the books themselves. I would advise hiring an editor, and especially if you're building a series of books, then hiring an editor with knowledge of the topic is extra helpful. So
Okay.
in terms of your first question there, you don't necessarily need to build an audience, but if you can build a series of books in the beginning, that's always a good idea. So that you can do right from the start. And that way you can...
So you need to think about a brand.
Think about a series of books. It's a good idea, but not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, at the beginning, it's more important to publish books. So if the first 2 or 3 books fail, that's not bad at all. So I did 5 books, and the 5th made the first $100 in a month. And the 4 first books, they were low content and medium content books, so not that high quality, but they bring no money today. So they are time waste, but they weren't time waste, because I learned, I get experience, and that leads to making better books after that. And that's, I think, an important mindset. Because in publishing,
So
time is your friend. The more books you publish, the better you get. So the more time passes, it's better for you. The more time passes, and so that's a thinking that gives me. Then I'm not as stressed, because I know, okay, if I do the right thing, if I publish more books, it's not that important that I have success now, but in a year, in 2 years, I will constantly get better and better and better. Yeah.
I think the approach to mastery that Andre is saying is correct. I think it's the correct approach. And also, at least in my case, when I started out, I also tried just different keywords. I wish I had the trifecta from the start. I would have saved myself so much time. But at least for me, I wanted to publish many books, getting the keyword as right as possible. And as soon as I saw success in one of the first ones, then I was like, okay, time to build a brand, right? And I started building like more books around the first successful book. Right now, there are tools where you can kind of skip that phase initially, in which it's trial and error, but it gets to the point where you hit like a little gold mine, and that's when you go all in for the book. I remember one of my first niches was self-discovery journal. This was back in 2018. My first book under my name is actually in this brand. The first book made me $1,000, and I published so many more, and that's how I got to 10,000 because of just that niche. But I didn't know about quality. I didn't know about covers. So eventually my competition just took me out, and I kept getting bad reviews. So those books died out, right? But I think branding comes into play once you start getting a good amount of sales or some sales, maybe. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Peter. I have yet to finish the whole trifecta. But in the beginning, you don't want to look so ahead. Like you just want to publish first and get better at that first, and then move on to branding. Right? Uh, but correct me if I'm wrong there.
Oh, great.
That was kind of like my experience.
Yeah. I was reflecting back now while you were speaking to how my brand was created, my main brand. And it was through that process of trial and error. I was publishing in several niches, and then I saw that this one book took off, and it was similar to your story, Gerald, where it wasn't good enough quality, but I did learn something from it, and I took the angle that was working, and that was then how the brand was created. So I saw that the cover worked, the angle worked, and then I just scaled from there. So that's a great idea. In the beginning, you don't want to be overwhelmed, so it makes more sense to aim to get success for individual books.
And if you make the book, it makes sense when a book does sales and another book doesn't sell as well. So if you do, if you have a book that's not working, you normally know why it's not working if it's not working. And if it works, and then after the first book really hit, it all makes sense. So that it was for me like that. So one book needs to work, and all niches make sense. So yeah.
Welcome.
I just want to say, sorry.
I was going to welcome Ahmed to the call as well. Go ahead, Ken.
No, I was just saying that when I went into the trifecta, it was mainly because I have this approach in all of my businesses that I really want to get to know how to do the business from the ground up. I think it's really important, even if you build systems, to know all the details, because it's hard to outsource something if you don't know what you're expecting to get in return. So if you don't know, like I hired, and this is kind of where I landed, is I hired a ghostwriter to do a few books for me in the beginning. And then I just thought the quality was crap. And I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. I said, well, instead of spending more money, I need to learn this really from a systematic and really learn all the details in it, because you can really, you can spend a lot of money on it before you actually get any returns. So I thought that I think it's a great investment to do the course, to really get to do the nitty gritty in the actual, to know if you're going to start outsourcing, you got to know what you're going to expect in quality. And I think that's something I'm getting from the course already, which has been quite helpful, actually.
I appreciate that, and it reminds me of what Paul said as well. And you have done another business before you did self-publishing, is that correct?
Yeah, I've actually had several businesses that I built up and sold on. And my most recent business is actually one I'm still CEO of, and I sold the majority ownership, and then I bought back the majority ownership, but I still have that business. But it was the same thing there. You can make a lot of mistakes before you actually start making any money. And if you're really stupid like I am, then you can end up spending a whole lot of money before you actually start making any. And so that's kind of where I think doing this course has been quite good.
And I think that comes with experience. Once you have, for example, I have 2 businesses that I started before. Once you have gone through the process, you see how valuable it is to avoid these pitfalls. But sometimes it requires that previous business experience to really see the value in, okay, I can skip all this trial and error, this falls of wasted money and wasted time. So I greatly appreciate hearing that. We have a question here in YouTube Live. Hi, my name is Mel, and I want to say I really inspire you. Love watching your vids. My question would be, publishing many little novels be as effective as ebooks? I love fiction. I've done 10 fiction books. I saw some success with them, but I'm definitely not an expert in fiction. I know that for fiction, ebooks is more important. And when I was doing it back in 2020, we would do Kindle Unlimited, and we would focus on driving traffic to the first book with Facebook ads. And we also built an email list. And then through that, we had a series of books, and people would read through the entire series. So that is the idea with fiction, I believe. You want to create a series of books, and ebooks, depending on the niche, of course, is what will sell the most from what I've seen. Audiobooks can do well also. Anyone with fiction experience here on the call? Gerald, I know you have a connection with Bobby. Did you ever try fiction?
I did also, but my experience was very similar to yours. It was mostly 2020 as well. I published some romance, like dark romance or like, I don't know, Twilight kind of themed romance, and people loved it, right? But you did need Facebook ads back then. You did need a lot of backlist, at least 3 or 4 books in the back of a series to make the series profitable. You need to be very good with numbers as well, with the read-throughs and customers also bought and all of that. It was great learning experience, but I think it's much more complex than what we are used to in regular publishing. If you do it because you love it or you're a writer, go ahead. But if you are looking to get into a business that's more hands-off, I think that just regular nonfiction or even medium content is a bit more hands-off than fiction. Uh, in my experience also. Um, right now I think TikTok is actually the thing for fiction. It's the new big thing for them, right? But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Welcome, Ian, as well to the call.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing over there?
Good.
Do we have any more questions, either from any caller here or in the YouTube live? Drop a comment in the live chat.
If there are currently no questions, I would share my screen for a second and go back to Michael's question again, maybe, and show around a little bit inside the elite community and the trifecta. I think you need to enable screen sharing for me.
Yep.
It should be
test now.
if you click on the dot. Okay. So to get back to your question, Michael, I think you asked, does it teach more of a do-it-yourself approach, or does it teach you how to build systems around it? Peter already answered this, basically, but I will go a little bit more into detail maybe, or show you what it looks like. Right here we have the course Systems Mastery, and this is basically exactly what you mentioned. It teaches you how to build systems around your self-publishing business, basically outsourcing, what is important for every role you need to consider when outsourcing. This is a bonus module to the self-publishing trifecta. In the self-publishing trifecta itself, it's not a do-it-yourself approach, but you learn what every component needs to be perfect, basically. And also a lot of videos about niche research, how to find, let me show you inside real quick. It has 3 modules. The first one, the scientific approach module, is basically what I just mentioned, how to perfect every component of your book. In here, you may know Barry KDP from YouTube. He also has made guest courses for this product for Amazon Ads and also the book cover. Let me scroll through. Shows everything from the book cover to A+ content. There's a video on every component, basically. It also goes into niche research here already in the scientific approach, gives you an introduction, but not just a basic introduction. For the complete basic knowledge, you can also use the Skool course, of course, but this is more in depth and shares more strategies. And then the second module is the Greenfield Publishing Strategy. And this one is all about niche research, finding your unique angle to a niche, also how to find an entry into good niches which are already crowded, but how to craft your unique angle, basically, and how to still position yourself even in a overcrowded market. A third module inside the trifecta is the branding mastery module, and this is all about building a brand around your books, so you are set up for long-term success. Overall, the self-publishing trifecta course alone, it has 99 lessons, but you have to consider after every lesson there's a quiz. So it's a little less than 99, of course. Overall, the trifecta alone has over 10 hours of video content. Let me show you around the other courses as well. Yeah, we have the Systems Mastery bonus course, the 7-figure publishing framework bonus course. This is about how to think like a 7-figure publisher. Also, Peter shows his work routine basically in here. We have a guest course on Facebook ads. It shows everything from setting up the Facebook ads account to the point where your ads go live, creating the ads, etc. We also have a Publish Elite course in here. Publish Elite is our software we have developed, or it's a Go high level software, but we have made it exclusively for self-publishers. It has pre-built lead magnet pages you can easily customize. It has an email automation system built in, so you can automate the building of your email list and ARC list. And yeah, this is a really nice tool to use. If you're a community member, you have access to this. Well, we are inside the community right here. So the trifecta course is not only a course, it has this course component, which is incredibly valuable as a standalone product already, but as a community member. So the way it works is basically you buy the entry-level product, which is the course plus 1 month of access to our community. The course access is lifetime. And as a community member, you have the personal support component, which is really valuable in my opinion. You have first off the WhatsApp support to coaches and Peter as well, where you can, it's basically like a 24/7 Q&A like we're having right now, but you can ask questions all the time. And you also have the group call component, which is basically what we're doing right now. These will be held regularly in the group, will be recorded. You can pre-submit questions.
This is actually very helpful. Thanks very much, Tim.
No problem.
Just to understand, so with just a course, we also get those 2 bonus components, and the rest of it is available through Elite subscription only?
The thing is, when you buy, you only have the chance to buy the entry-level product, which is all the courses you see right here, plus the access to the Elite community, 1 month of access. And the way it works,
all the courses, so meaning everything that you just showed me is part of the offering?
everything but the access to the Publish Elite software. The Publish Elite software is only accessible as a community member. And the WhatsApp support and these components are only accessible as a community member. The way it works, you join, you get 1 month for free, and then we have this system thought out. You can extend your membership basically by only being active inside the community for up to 3 more months. I can show you a little bit how this works. So basically you gain points whenever you post something and somebody likes your post, you gain points. When you reach 3 points, then when you reach 20 points, you reach level 3. At this stage, you unlock your first 3-month extension. When you reach level 4, you unlock another 3 month, level 5, the same. And as you can
Okay.
see already, we have been
So
live for
basically, a reward based on participation and value of your participation.
exactly. But I
Right.
have heard one person, he had the fear that he would not be active enough to reach those levels. But as you can see, we've been live for, I think, 5 or 6 days, and already some of the people have reached the level 3 reward, and some are already close to reaching the level 4 reward. And that's not the only way to extend your membership. You also have the chance to extend your membership via a subscription, and this is $197 per month for the monthly subscription and $1,997 per month for the annual subscription.
Okay.
Yeah. And the 3-month extensions is capped to
3 months.
3 extra months. So overall, you have 4 months, basically, if you're active.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. That was very, very good.
No problem.
We have a question.
Happy to hear that.
You can answer, Tim. Is it like a coaching
Check.
program? Can you hear, Tim?
Let me check for a second. Is it in the Zoom chat? It's not a coaching program. When you are in the trifecta or you have partaken in the course, you have the chance to book coachings directly with Peter. But actually, the WhatsApp access you have, it's basically like a Q&A support service. In my opinion, this is really close to a coaching. So you can ask detailed questions. You can also ask detailed questions in the community, but inside WhatsApp, you can ask detailed questions to privately Peter only, so you can share numbers, books. If you don't want to give away your niche, for example, publicly inside the community, you can always get feedback from Peter privately and other coaches. Andre, for example, who is also on this call, is also a coach inside the community.
Yes, and something we haven't marketed. You want to go ahead, Michael? One thing we haven't marketed as well is when you join, I've messaged some of you here in the elite community. So if you check the chat, you can see that you can book a 30-minute onboarding call as well. So there you can also ask me questions about your specific situation and how we can move forward there. So you will get that as well as a bonus when you join, but it's not anything we've marketed.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that because I had a one-on-one call with Peter this morning. Well, this morning here, but on the afternoon over there. And that's very valuable for people just starting out. If I had a call like this, like earlier in my KDP life, maybe my results would have been much more interesting. And some people are asking about if it's for beginners. And I think I can go back to the example I mentioned earlier. I had success with one of my first 10 books really popped off and I started making a lot of sales. And then it was because I went inside of that niche that I eventually got to a very, very good number in publishing. But I didn't have the elements for lasting success. So basically I was caught up in this hamster wheel. I published more books in good niches, had some money for a few months. The books then died because of bad reviews or bad quality or no branding or no ecosystem or simply not any of the points that are mentioned in the trifecta, right? So having this mindset early on, I think will prepare you for lasting success, even if you're just a beginner. Because at the end of the day, the step-by-step, the do-it-yourself videos, all of that, I mean, that's all on YouTube. And also Peter has a free course where you can find all of that. I don't think that's where you want to be focusing your energy if you're a beginner, but actually to have a vision of what your business should look like so that you can make it lasting income.
That's a great addition. And you will have, like Tim said, you will have lifetime access to the trifecta. So you can go through the trifecta program in your own pace. And if you have questions as you're going through, you can leave a comment under the video. There you can get answers, or you have the support as well, or the community. So you have a strong base with this program.
Or do you ask the question, will you be updating the course from time to time to stay relevant or as relevant? Yes, we will.
Yes, we will add. And Gerald, you mentioned as well when we were talking that you might add some content as well in regards to medium content where you are an expert.
Well, we were talking with Peter, and the topic came up of low and medium content. We are planning on delivering that very soon. I see a lot of people are specifically interested in that, so we can create some really nice modules for that as well. I'm going to chip in some ideas that I've been working on my end in the low and no content side, which is basically all that I've been doing in the last 6, 7 years is low and no and medium content. So I think that can make a great addition to everything else you're going to find inside the course.
I have a question about low content books because Amazon seems to be flooded with them. And I was wondering,
Michael, can you disable your mic? Michael, your microphone seems, yeah, thank you.
okay, so I was wondering if it's still relevant low content book because there are so many of them everywhere.
Yes, so I do think it's very good. So what happens with low and medium content is that there's also a step-by-step process to get them to work. I think that most people underestimate them a lot because they're very easy to make. But the magic is basically inside keyword research and also in reviews and covers, right? Which we will cover very soon inside the video. Actually, I'm doing a case study of a $1 book versus a $1,000 book, right? And seeing which one will earn more. Obviously, the $1 book is the no content book, and I think you guys will be very surprised at the result, which I will share with you guys when it's finished. But there is a method. You can do it, and you can replicate it also. It's just that I guess not enough people know the correct procedure.
Thanks.
Yeah, we in Germany have low content books reaching the top 100 BSRs. So they're making over $10,000 a month with low content books. It's absolutely amazing because it's more like how you mark the book, if it's sellable. The content isn't that important. It's often meme books or books you gift as a joke. And then many people buy them and gift them, and the people are glad about the book, they enjoy the book, but the content isn't that complex, and the cover is great, the reviews are great, etc. It's more about marketing and selling and not about the content on low content, but they have huge potential. Here in Germany, it's goes absolutely crazy.
And that's a good point, because if you wanna know if low and no content books sell, just go to the top 100 of Amazon, and you will always find a book or multiple books, usually a lot of books of no content and low content and medium content in the top 100. There will always be at least a few.
And even new books, that's the point. They are 3-month-old, for example, here the German books, always new books in the top 100. That's the important part, because if it's a book that is 6 years old, yeah, wow, okay, that's not as easy to replicate. But if it's a new book, then it shows that it's possible to still make such a book and get profit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting there, because what I found on some of my coloring books is that it was the more of the advertising is that you would have to sell $30 in advertising for $30 in sales. But of course, on a coloring book, you're competing at a $6 price point, and you're only making about $1 on each book sold. So it's I think the key word in trying to get them seen in advertising is like the big issue there, and actually trying to make money on those books. That's where I'm finding my big issue on them.
I think that the lower quality, I mean, sorry, not the lower quality, the easier it is to replicate a book, the more you have to compensate in keyword research and also in ads. But if you learn those two skills, you can make a low content book sell. And it's not that complicated. If I could summarize what we're going to see in the modules that we'll present inside of the trifecta for, like, I think it's going to be like not a module, but like a little bonus course. Basically, we're going to talk about how to launch them correctly, so that you will launch a book, you will have it ranked for keywords, but then you will have the organic keyword sales take over, right? And you can minimize the ad spend afterwards, because you don't want to run heavy ads to low and no content books at all times since the margins are very small. You just want to do it for a limited amount of time and then quickly break even on them, right? And we'll get into details about that inside the program soon. But yeah, we will cover those points kind of.
So this is an encouragement to join the program because, as we mentioned, you will benefit from any extra addition that we do add. Just like we mentioned, Gerald would add. If anyone inside the Driven Publishers Elite or anyone who's gone through the trifecta says, can you do a video on this? I will create a video, an additional lesson. So this will be built upon as well. And this is the first launch, and that's why we're doing it at this price. Another question, if I have two different niches, one ebook, the other fiction, how would it work? Does Amazon allow two accounts, two names? You don't need two accounts. You can have two different pen names under the same KDP account. And Bliss responds, respect for you guys, you are very driven. Thank you, appreciate that. Ahmed, where are you in your journey currently?
So, hi Pete, hi everyone. So I would consider myself still early on. I did have one low medium content kind of book a few months back, and it didn't go well. So I know the process. So I'm just not fired up because the niche wasn't really what I'm passionate about. So I'm really thinking of going into high content book in a niche that I really love. So the challenge I have right now is how far should I write it myself? How much should a hired writer would write it? I'm still not even solid on the niche or the keywords that I'll be using. I need a little bit of mentoring in this, or at least some guidance and see what is a good keyword and what is a bad keyword. So I'm still learning.
Okay, great. How long ago did you start? Have you gone through the free Skool course?
So I just joined the community yesterday, to be honest. So I haven't been there for quite some time. So, but a good community shows from the get-go. So I'm happy that I'm joining the call today, and I'm truly considering the trifecta, but I just wanted to make sure that it is the right fit for me.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions here on the call?
I just wanted to mention just one last thing. I've been getting a lot of messages from people from the community, the old dinosaurs of KDP, whether it is good to consider the trifecta or not. And I was telling them that the value is also a lot in the fact that it's a networking opportunity, because many of the people that you will find inside the trifecta have a lot of experience in Amazon KDP. Many are already making a really steady income, and an opportunity to be part of a founding, like the founding members of a community like that is invaluable. Like if you look at other KDP communities or masterminds, having been there at one point myself, like speaking from my experience, let me meet people that became after that my mentors, that became after that people that I learned from, right? It's thanks to joining communities like this at their founding stage that I made friends with maybe people like Bobby Kim or Jacob, like people that have a lot of like experience also in the publishing world. And that led me to meet Peter back in 2019, and which led me to meet a lot of other publishers as well. So there's a lot of value, not tangible, perhaps so much if you look at it in the long term, but very powerful. Like if you see past the just the next few months. So that's just one point. And yeah, and we'll be including a lot of like no content and low content stuff later on. So for those that are just starting out, I think that is a good opportunity where you can maybe apply a little bit faster as you're working towards those bigger nonfiction books to build bigger brands around. And well, yeah, that's it from my end. I gotta get going, guys, but it was great talking to you, and hope I was able to share some value.
Absolutely.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah, great to have you here, Gerald. See you inside the community again. Okay, we have questions here. You said we can have more than one pen name under the same account, but can we have one storefront for each niche we publish in under each pen name? You can have more than one pen name under the same account. That is completely fine. Can we have one storefront for each niche? You will get one product page for each book you publish on Amazon. So you get one listing per book. Sometimes books that don't do best have keyword audience. For example, the prompt guided journals, Mama, I want to hear your story. That's a new viral concept. Would it be worth risk such new ideas? If you can validate it through the numbers and everything else by assessing the competition, yes, it can be worth it. I haven't looked into that keyword personally myself. For example, can we have one storefront for coloring books and one for nonfiction book under the same account? I think changing storefront to listing, yes, you can have one coloring book and you can have one nonfiction book or under the same account. I upload low content but not sell till few last month. Currently 13 orders. Sell, can advertise. How much spent in dollar, all in paperback? I'm from India. Okay. Andre, do you have any answer to that question?
I don't understood it fully. Question.
I upload low content book, but they don't sell. They haven't sold last month. Currently 13 order, but can I advertise? Yes, I believe you should advertise. How much dollars? Depends on how much you have in your budget. So that will determine, because you pay per click on Amazon advertising. So that's really good because that means that you see results while you're running the ads. So if you're not making sales from the ads, then it makes sense to turn them off or at least make adjustments.
Yeah, but without advertising, you don't know if the book works. So if you publish a book and don't advertise it, then it's yeah, you don't know. You have no information about it because nobody finds the book. If you have 13 sales without any ads, I think I never got one sale without an ad. But that's not how the business works. If you publish a book, so I myself, if I publish a book, I want to get a review as fast as possible. And as soon as I have one review, I start the ads. And then you can optimize the ads. And if you don't sell with the ads, so I get more than 20 clicks and don't get a sale, I deactivate the campaign. And if I deactivate all my campaigns, then the book doesn't work. And then I do the next book. That's the process like I handle it.
Back to Carlos. Oh, sorry. I think what he meant with storefront was author page. I think it's called storefront if you have an Amazon shop without publishing books, but I think storefront can be changeable with author page.
Yeah, you can have multiple author pages under the same account. I see we have one question we haven't covered. In assessing average BSR and reviews, which book do you include exact keywords only? So for example, let's take the example, chair yoga for seniors. If you see, for example, workout for seniors show up, do we include that as well when we're doing the analysis? And the answer is no, we primarily check the exact keyword phrase or topic. Did that answer your question, Audie? Okay, when doing niche research on Amazon, do you go to Amazon.com or other country? We go to Amazon.com, but it depends. If you're doing a German book, then of course you want to go to Amazon.de. If you're doing a French book, you go to Amazon.fr, etc.
Yeah, you did answer this question already.
Okay, perfect. Okay, any final questions as we wrap up this call?
I think there's one new question inside the YouTube chat. Mr. Holmquist, with your discipline and willpower, you inspire me a lot. Thank you for that. That's not a question, actually. That's just a thank you message.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, so for everyone who is watching, you got a sneak peek into the group calls that we will have inside the trifecta, inside the Driven Publishers Elite. So everyone who has joined, we will be having these weekly for now at least. And you can pre-submit if you have any questions, if you're unable to make the call. Otherwise, you can, of course, answer or ask the questions during the group calls as well. And we can have a dialogue back and forth, and we can do screen share if it's necessary, and we can answer any questions that is currently stopping you or anything that is that's on your mind. So thank you very much for everyone who participated both in the Zoom and the YouTube chat, YouTube Live. We will see you inside the Skool community, and I'll see you in the next YouTube video as well. Thanks, everyone.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
We're planning on maybe having a new live stream video format where people can submit books beforehand, and Peter will go over them live and give feedback to books live, basically. Would that be something that you would be interested in or would find entertaining, maybe? To have live, basically a little bit like live coaching sessions, but live feedback sessions, something like this. Just a question.
Let me know anyone who's still in the Zoom chat if you would like that. And feel free to drop a comment down below if you're watching this after the call as well. We see some people left here. Yes, please, Claudia answers here. Perfect. That's cool. With covering content, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Sounds great. Let's do it.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Great idea, Tim. Yep.
Thanks for being a part of this.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
It was good.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See you.
Bye.